Okay, taking a look at Gavotte. This is on page 57, continuing the triad inversions theme. And Gavotte, it says, is a French dance from the 17th century. It's a dance in moderate tempo in 4/4 time. It's more kind of a upbeat, lighthearted dance. And right hand has both the first inversion and the second inversion. So for example, look at the first two measures. It starts with the first inversion with EGC. Right, and then it goes to the second inversion of GCE. Okay, and then it's got the melody note. It actually makes you shift a little more. And while the left hand accompaniment is fairly simple, right hand is a little more complicated. So let's read the right hand together once. So it'll be like 1, 2, about this tempo for now. 1, 2, first inversion. First inversion. Now second inversion, shift. Now shift again to number 3 on E. Cross over and down. Same exact thing. It's repetition. 2, E, 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 2. Yeah, it's the same thing twice. Okay, and left hand is exactly the same too. Left hand has an octave accompaniment. It's all lighthearted and upbeat with the staccatos. Let's try it together. 2, ready, go. Together, together, right and second inversion. Hold it at C. Now cross over G. Make sure the last note of the phrase is soft. Now we start again. Same exact thing. Crossover. And of course, we need some contrast, right? So the third line, measures 9 through 12, is the contrasting material. And while the first two lines was composed using repetition, as in same exact thing is repeated, the compositional technique that's used in the third line is called sequencing. So sequence is where you have the same pattern, but starting on different pitches. So here's what I mean. Listen to this. Right hand goes. Has this motive and it repeats one step down each measure for that line. See, now we start on the F. Now we're gonna start on E. Now we're gonna end up on G. And this might be like the most complicated part of this piece. So I will practice that a couple of times. And in order to keep the same fingering throughout, what it also does is it makes you change to number 3 here instead of using 2. That feels most natural at that time. They make you use 3, 4 instead so that you can use the same fingering for every measure. So it'll be 5, 3, 1, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1. So while it's not always 100% true, that's a tip. Whenever there's the same pattern, so whenever there's sequence, it's easiest if you're able to keep the same fingering for each of those sequences. There are exceptions, of course, but in this case, it's totally possible. Let's add the left hand. Left hand stays in this position the whole time. 1, 2, measure 9, go. 5, 3, 1, 3, 4. 5, 3, 1, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1. And since it has like a nice descending line, the pattern is going down. So maybe the last one play a little softer, just to show that there is a downward pattern, even within the mezzo forte. So let's do that whole thing again. 1, 2, measure 9, go. So start a little louder. Now slightly softer, right? And then restart. Sounds just like the beginning, doesn't it? Except it changes slightly here. Left hand has a different bass. It's an F instead of C. And the right hand, instead of going to F, we're gonna go to G, C, B, C. Yeah, so you can say that this piece is in kind of the form of A, B, and then A prime kind of thing. Let me play the whole thing for you now, slightly faster. 1, 2, ready, go. And same thing. Sequence. Back to louder. F, go to G, cross over C. Yeah, and then the last 2 lines can be repeated. All right, enjoy this little piece.